What's up, steak fans? Welcome back to Patio. My name's Jake. You're watching Run McCook. Today on the channel, I'm going back in time. I'm retrying something that I did last year, and I have not tried it again since because it left a bad taste in my mouth. No pun intended. I tried a dry brine, and I asked if it was too salty. So I had two steaks side by side. One of them I dry brined overnight, one of them I did not. And sure enough, it was damn salty. But I made a mistake. I can admit it. I salted again before I put it on the grill. So we learned that was a mistake. I hear other people have done the same thing too. Hopefully, if you're watching this and you've done this thing, you'll give it a try again because I have high hopes for this. If it doesn't go well, I won't be dry brining again, but I can tell you I've done dry brines for 6 hours and stuff like that, and it's been fine. I have not done another one overnight. This is the first time, and I'm pulling out all the stops. We've got a dry aged 60-day 40-ounce Tomahawk, and check it out. It's even engraved #Run McCook. I thought that was kind of cool. But dry brine this yesterday. It's almost been 24 hours, so it's got a full dry brining in. It's been in the fridge ever since, and we're gonna do one other step just because I wanted to try something. Truff hot sauce. Now, a little bit of background. I'm a wimp. I don't like hot stuff whatsoever, but Smoking Dad Barbecue uses this all the time, and I asked him, I said, can you taste the heat? And he said, no, not really, just adds a nice background flavor to it. So I'm going to trust him, and I'm going to make sure, or I'm going to hope that I don't ruin this steak. But if you don't try things, you're never going to learn. So we're just going to put a little bit. He uses it as a binder. Now obviously I've already salted this, so we're just going to put some pepper on the outside. Now don't worry, I know I touched my steak. I'll wash the bottle afterwards. Don't want anyone crying. And I think I'll put salt on it right away, actually. Or sorry, pepper. We've got the salt. Now I've already got my Kamado preheating behind us. It's actually been going for a little while now. Take a little bit more here. And it's around 235. Honestly, I couldn't decide if I wanted 225 or 250, and I ended up somewhere in the middle, and that's okay. So I'm a little nervous, I'm a little excited. We'll see what happens here. This is about the most hot sauce as I've ever used in my life. And all we're going to do is we're going to do a reverse sear here. I'm not going to put anything else on this at this stage. I am going to do one other step, and we'll get into that. Ooh, in a little bit, a little too much pepper there. We'll get into that in a little bit, but we'll let it rest between stages here. And make sure we get the outside a little bit. And I can already smell the hot sauce. James, you better be right. All right. A little bit more in here, might as well finish it off. All right, so I think we're in pretty good shape. Let's get this guy on the grill. We actually crept up to 245 when I wasn't paying attention. So we're gonna be in good shape there. Now, let me show you what we got here. I've got my half rack in here, okay? And what I'm gonna do here is, this guy's up high, right? And then I've got half of the basket filled. The other thing that I'm doing today that I forgot to tell you about is we're using Jealous Devil on steak. I bought a bag a couple weeks ago, and it has a little bit more charcoal flavor. I've never tried it. for steak, so we are gonna try that as well. I mean, if you're making some changes, just make a whole bunch at once and you can't figure out which you liked, which you didn't. But we'll be all right. We're just gonna set this guy right in the middle here. And then we'll take our temp probe, put that in the middle. Now we're gonna do a reverse sear. So we'll keep this going. Now, I tend to like my steak 132, 134, somewhere in there. I don't like it at 125. So when you're doing a reverse sear, what do you want to do? You pretty much want to take it up to your desired temperature right out of the gate. I'm going to rest it between searing, or between reverse searing and searing. So then that way the temperature is going to stabilize. It will rise a little bit. So I'm probably going to pull it off about 128, 129. And then we're going to let it rest, and then we're going to sear the heck out of it. That will bring it up a little bit, but it's not going to bring it up too much because we did let it rest and it cooled off. So let's let this guy go. And what I'll do is I'll bring you back when we're getting ready to the next stage. It's been about an hour and 15 minutes. I didn't look at the time when I started, so ballpark, about an hour and 15 minutes. We're up to 128. So we're looking really good. You can see some nice color on this. We'll pull out our thermometer. Let me give a little probe in the middle just to make sure that we're good. So we'll go down to about 127. So overall we're in good shape. So what we're going to do, a little bit of fat there, we'll pull that off. So as you can see, we've got some really good color here. I'm happy with that. What we're going to do is we're going to open up our vents a little bit here. Let this guy get up to temperature. Now, I'm not going to crank them open because I don't want this up to temp in 5 minutes. I really want to let this rest. But we're going to do one other step here. Now, if you've been on YouTube at all, you've seen this stuff around, there is a craze going on about Wagyu tallow. Now let me be clear, I bought this like at the beginning of the year, long before the craze happened. This is just good to have. You can make it yourself. Here, this is 29 bucks. So you can make it, save yourself a little bit of money. Me personally, for 29 bucks, I'm good with it. I'll spend the money. I will make myself some at some point in time, but for now, I got half of that left, so I'm gonna use it. But what we're going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit on here. And I just want this to melt in. I'm just trying to add a little bit of flavor, but I'm also trying to put some oil on this because when I sear it, I want to get some heat into it. I want to get some flame into it, and the oil will just help. So we're just going to kind of push this around a little bit. I don't want to touch my seasoning too much. Now remember, we're only cooking it like 245 over there, so this outside is not extremely hot. Give it some time to melt in. Don't be afraid to get your fingers into it. All right, like I'm grabbing the bone with bare hands when I just pulled it off, so it's not crazy hot on the outside, but this will melt into it. Doesn't take much. It'll just add a little bit of flavor. Turn this over the other way. Cut some of that up here. Again, we'll just put the rest of this into that. And I'm just going to loosely cover this. Just want to let it sit there. What we're going to do is we're going to do our rest now. This is going to sit here for 15 minutes. I'm going to let this get up to temperature. We're going to take it high, right? I said in another video that I've kind of changed my sear method, and I'm not going to follow that method today. I'm going to do another video on that. But what I'm going to do today is we're going to do caveman style sear. We're gonna put this right in the charcoal. I've actually never done that before. Shocking, I know. But I want to give this the full effect of what I'm trying to do today. And we're doing our salt brine, we're doing our Truff hot sauce, and we're gonna do a caveman sear. And I'm just gonna see what it's all about. In the end, I may think it's awesome. It may suck. I don't know, I've never done it before, but we're gonna learn this together. I think it's gonna be pretty darn good. I wanna get it into a caveman sear because I've got this hot sauce on here and I'm a little nervous about it since I'm a big wimp. So I think if I get it down into a caveman sear, what it's gonna do is it's gonna help burn off a little bit of that and just take off the edge. So let's wait 15 minutes. We'll get this guy up to temperature and I'll bring you back when it's time to sear. It's been 15 minutes. We're reading about 665. We're hot. This guy's nice and rested, so we're in good shape there. So all we gotta do is get this guy right into the coals. We're gonna open this up. And we've got a blistering hot fire in here. We're gonna put this guy right on the coals. We're gonna put on some gloves. Let's see how we make out. Darkness has set in. Hopefully you can see this. I mean, I'll tell you what, it looks great. I won't know till later how well you can see it, but if we go across the bone here, got a beautiful color of pink there. Oh yeah. That's what I like to see. I'm going to cut this right across the center. Super tender. Yeah, we'll see about the color. I mean, it's cooked perfect for me. A nice pink all the way through. It is ridiculously tender. So, I mean, I'm just going to dig in. I mean, there's no sense in waiting. That's good. Just let me confirm for a second. Melt in your mouth good. Can't taste the hot sauce at all. But I mean, it's so tender and juicy. I mean, look, this is not a cheap cut of meat. 60-day dry aged. If you're buying meat, don't cut corners. It's so worth it to spend a little bit more money and get some good quality. Dry aged is the way to go. Really happy with that. It's not salty at all, so check that box off. I can do this again. Definitely not hot. There's no hot sauce taste to it whatsoever. So that fear is gone. It's a great cut of meat. I mean, obviously it's 60-day dry age, so I started with a really good piece of meat to begin with, but it's got some great flavor to it. It's nice and tender and flavorful throughout. So well worth the effort. Listen, you gotta start with a good cut of meat, right? Try and buy some dry aged meat, buy prime at a minimum, and typically like buy it from a butcher, order online. The stuff you're getting at your grocery store or Costco is just not the same kind of meat. Like Costco doesn't age their meats at all, and it's all mechanically tenderized. This is a good cut of meat from Lafredia Meats out of New Jersey. I'll put a link below. You can get 30-day, 60-day dry aged. No matter what you do, you're gonna be happy with both of them. Highly recommend you give this guys a try. Got a plane flying by as I'm trying to close out. That's okay. Thanks as always for watching. I really appreciate you supporting the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so by clicking below. And while you're here, check out these couple videos. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you soon.